Success for artists is relative to where they are on their journey. Success, if you look it up in the dictionary, is simply achieving a set objective. And I think artists need to have many objectives that they set in order to build a career in music. And as such, every element of success should be celebrated. And therefore, yeah, for me, success is small steps, lots and lots of objectives met over a long period of time that add up to your ultimate objective, which is to become a sustainable music artist. We use a thing called the five-corner model, which essentially is 5 key areas that we focus on for an artist. That includes music, marketing, and live, and well-being, and the industry. What does that all mean? So music is about getting your music right. Marketing is about applying a great marketing strategy. And industry, I got them in the wrong order there, but the well-being side is the third point, which is about resilience and gratitude and where you apply your energy. It's almost like coaching, which I think is actually quite undervalued in the music industry. It feels a bit, as we say in the UK, hippy-dippy and kind of not very tangible. It's like, how are you feeling? Which is actually really important. Artists are very highly emotional, often highly emotional creatures, and therefore need that other side of humanity, really. And then there's the industry side, which is simply networking, meeting the right people and getting out there. I've missed one there, haven't I? Live. And of course, this is quite an interesting area because live is great. Clearly, an artist often, not always, the pinnacle of their talent is performing live to, a huge arena of fans that idolize and love the music that you're writing. However, live isn't necessarily always the strategy, as in performing live. But live in itself as a concept is very, very important, especially as we hurtle towards more technology and more opportunities to be live in front of fans. And being live in front of fans doesn't necessarily mean performance anymore. It can also be being creative, engaging with them, being able to form a community. And live is a very immediate way to offer exclusive value. And this is why a lot of pay-per-view channels, sports is a great example of this, offer live events at a premium cost. It's not an on-demand. You want to be there in the moment so that you can share with your peers. And on social media, there's a social media currency to it, that you were there at that precise moment, whilst everyone else is also there. So it's bringing together people at the same time. So live is a really interesting area for us because it's not just about performing live. It can be about that, but it's also just about conceptually what is live and how is it part of your world. Live isn't for everyone because it depends on the strategy that an artist employs. Live is the least scalable part of your business. It's really hard to replicate that model in multiple territories at the same time. And therefore, live isn't necessarily appropriate for everybody. When an artist thinks about their live strategy, they should really be thinking about it in relation to their business model as an artist. And sometimes that business model doesn't make sense. If you were to look at the numbers around performing live, traveling to a show, turning up at the show, buying some drinks, maybe the petrol that you've spent getting there, the amount of fans that then actually turn up, the amount of money you've put into promoting the event, Facebook ads, even the energy and time of posting it and emailing people, all of this equates to a value. And so when you start to throw those numbers together, you might travel 100 kilometers to a gig and it's cost you, a substantial amount of money in petrol and time and effort, and that's just on the day of the event. That's not including the pre-event activity, posting on social media, encouraging friends and family to come. What might happen then is that event, that one live show ends up costing you, I don't know what the Norwegian currency would be, but it would be the best part of £500 to perform to a show, and ultimately you lose money, and you lose a substantial amount of money and time and energy. You must consider every show that you do and understand that, is that a good business model? And I think it's important that an artist asks themselves questions like that, because could you use that £500 to run ads to thousands of people and acquire hundreds of fans that are far more targeted to the kind of fan that you would like? Would a great piece of content or the same amount of time and energy on TikTok create a viral moment that reaches even more fans? I would encourage artists to certainly not include live as part of their strategy if it's something that they love doing and they're very good at it. However, they must consider live in the round of their business strategy within the artist side of what they do. And as such, we don't always say to artists, go and perform live. We say, perform live if it makes sense. And what does make sense performing live? We're huge fans of support tours. So getting yourself onto a support tour is an incredibly powerful thing to do, particularly if the artist is similar genre-wise. You are then playing to a pre-marketed audience that the artist who's headlining have spent huge amounts of money for you to bring this audience to you, and it's your job then to get in front of this audience and turn them into your fans. We already know they have a certain liking to your genre and they like going to live shows. This then it starts to become very interesting. You're targeting the right audience and there is a certain amount of predictability to that audience turning up. So live strategy can work, but I'm not a fan of just live for live's sake. I think music is fundamentally the most important part of being an artist, which is why it's number one on our list of the 5-corner model. Music for us is not only is it your calling card, it's what you release on Spotify, and you will be judged on the quality of that music. Now, of course, the quality of music is incredibly subjective. However, there are certain objective elements within music, the production values, and who you've worked with and how it was mastered, how it was mixed. You can hear that stuff, and even the untrained ear can hear that stuff, and I think that's important. So music is fundamentally the most important thing. When an artist comes out, when they first release, you only get one chance to make a first impression, is my thoughts. So when you come out of the blocks of your music, make sure it's really strong, make sure it represents you well. Also, music becomes a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy in terms of conversations. Make sure you're working with the right producers, the right collaborators, the right partners. Make sure you're going into writing sessions with lots of different people. Don't be snobby about who you work with. Go and get in a room with people, because that's where the great conversations happen. In a recording studio, you are likely to bump into an A&R, a publisher, a producer who knows someone who works in a major record label. They may just like your song and may want to play them. Some of the best conversations my artists have been in the recording room with the producer, and someone's knocked on the door from the studio next door and went, "Oh, I just heard that voice. That's amazing. Tell me a bit more about your career." "Oh, right, okay, you're a major management company and you would like to take this artist on." That happens so often. It's scary. And it's one of those things I believe artists really need to understand is, yes, it's great if you're a bedroom producer. Yes, you can, be quite insular and isolated and create that content. However, the best conversations you'll have will be in the studios with other people. Partnership and collaboration is absolutely the route to success. Well-being is part of our 5-corner model, and for good reason. A large majority of artists are highly emotional. They're highly emotionally intelligent beings. They're very creative. And so because they often work with a certain part of their brain that is, very much built around the abstract and the imagination and the creativity, it means they can sometimes lose focus. And it's important that well-being is fundamental really to our 5-corner model, because it's not about necessarily the music. It's not about performing live. It's not about networking events. This is about the artist. How are you feeling? How are you feeling? You know, why are you feeling that way? How can we help you feel differently? Because when you get the mindset right, it becomes somewhat easier to see through the darkness that can sometimes consume an artist. You know, how am I ever going to be successful? How will I ever make it? And so well-being is important. It's important to check in with artists. Just what, you know, a release can be incredibly anxiety inducing. You're releasing your music to the world. Will they like it? All these big questions. You've poured your heart and soul into this song, and then you release it on day one and it doesn't get New Music Friday. Oh no. Quick, you know, call the ambulance. And so well-being is about understanding and building resilience and giving people a reference point that's not predicated on how many streams you've got. This is actually more about how you're feeling about things. Are we moving forward? Building resilience, understanding gratitude. You know, you're releasing music to the world. There are millions of potential people that can hear your art. That's incredible. Don't worry about it didn't receive this playlist or it didn't get that radio play. It's irrelevant, you know. And so it's important that people really understand gratitude. I think that's, for me, one of the key bits of well-being, is that we are only on here, this planet, for a short time, and you're being able to funnel your creativity, you'll be able to express your creativity, this cathartic release, to the world. It's an amazing opportunity, and technology and marketing facilitate the methods, or they can be the conduit to reaching the right people with those songs. It's an amazing thing.